There's an island in the sea, not far from the blessed isles of Zarathustra, on which a fiery mountain smokes continually. The people say of it, and especially the little old women among the people say of it, that it was placed like a huge boulder before the gate to the underworld. But through the fiery mountain itself leads the narrow path that winds downward to the gate of the underworld. Now it was around the time that Zarathustra sojourned on the Blessed Isles that a ship dropped anchor at the island on which the smoking mountain stands, and its crew went ashore to shoot rabbits. Toward the hour of noon, however, as the captain and his people were together again, they suddenly saw a man approaching them through the air. And a voice clearly said, "It is time! It is high time!" As the figure came closest to them, and it flew past quickly like a shadow in the direction of the fiery mountain, they recognized with the greatest dismay that it was Zarathustra. For all of them had seen him before, except for the captain himself, and they loved him as the people love, with equal parts of love and awe. "Just look," said the old helmsman. "There goes Zarathustra off to hell." Around the same time that these sailors landed on the fiery island, the rumor was circulating that Zarathustra had disappeared, and when people asked his friends, they related how he had departed by ship at night, without saying where he would be traveling. Thus a restlessness arose. But 3 days later, this restlessness was increased by the sailor's story. And now all the people were saying that the devil had fetched Zarathustra. His disciples laughed at this news, to be sure, and one of them even said, "I would sooner believe that Zarathustra fetched himself the devil." But at the bottom of their souls, all of them were filled with worry and longing. And so their joy was great when on the 5th day, Zarathustra appeared among them. And this is the story that Zarathustra relayed to his disciples about a conversation he had had with the firehound, that is, the political revolutionary. "The earth," he said, "has a skin, and this skin has diseases. One of these diseases, for example, is called human being. And another of these diseases is called firehound, that is, the political revolutionary. About him, people have told each other many lies and allowed themselves to be lied to too much. To fathom this mystery, I went over the sea. That's where I was. And I saw the naked truth, indeed, barefoot up to its throat. And now I know what this political revolutionary is all about. And likewise all the underhanded and overthrowing scum devils, of whom not only little old women are afraid. "Out with you, firehound, out of your depth," I had cried. "And confess, how deep is this depth? Where did you get what you are snorting there? You drink deeply from the sea, don't you? Oh yes, your salty eloquence betrays that. Really though, for a hound of the depths, you take your nourishment way too much from the surface. At best, I could regard you as a ventriloquist of the earth. And always when I heard overthrowing and underhanded scum devils speaking, I found them to be the same as you, salty, lying, and superficial. Oh yes, you know how to bellow and how to darken with ashes. You are the best big mouths, and you've learned more than enough about bringing mud to boil. Wherever you are, their mud always has to be close by, and much that is spongy, pitted, squeezed, and wants to break free. Freedom! The lot of you are best at bellowing. But I lose faith in so-called great events as soon as they are surrounded by much bellowing and smoke. And just believe me, friend infernal racket, the greatest events, these are not our loudest, but our stillest hours. Not around the inventors of new noise does the world revolve, but around the inventors of new values. Inaudibly it revolved. And just confess it, when your noise and smoke cleared, it was always very little that had actually happened. What does it matter that a town becomes a mummy and a statue lies in the mud? And these words I say to all overthrowers of statues. Surely it is the greatest folly to throw salt into the sea and statues into the mud. In the mud of your contempt lay this statue. But precisely this is its law, that out of that contempt, life and living beauty grow back to it. It stands up again, even with more godlike features, seductive in its suffering, and truly, it will yet thank you for overthrowing it, you overthrowers. But this advice I give to kings and churches, and to all that is feeble with age and feeble in virtue. Just let yourselves be overthrown, so that you might come to life again, and to you, virtue. Thus I spoke before the firehound. But then it interrupted me sullenly and asked, "Church? What is that?" "Church," I answered, "that is a kind of state, and in fact the most lying kind. But be silent, you hypocrite hound. You already know your kind well. Like you yourself, the state is a hypocrite hound. Like you, it likes to speak with smoke and bellowing, to make believe, like you, that it speaks from the belly of things. For it wants to absolutely be the most important animal on earth, this state. And people believe it, too." And when I had finished saying this, the firehound behaved as though out of his mind with envy. "What?" it shouted. "The most important animal on earth? And they believe it too?" And then so much steam and so many horrid voices emanated from his throat that I thought he would choke in death from anger and envy. At last he grew calmer, and his panting let up. But as soon as he was calm, I said, laughing, "You are angry, firehound. Therefore I am right about you. And so that I also might remain right, hear now about another firehound, one who really speaks from the heart of the earth. His breath exhales gold and golden rain. Thus his heart wants it. What are ash and smoke and hot slime to him? Laughter flutters out of him like a colorful cloud, and he is ill-disposed toward your gurgling and spitting and the growling of your bowels. But gold and laughter, that he takes from the heart of the earth, for you should know, the heart of the earth is made of gold." When the firehound heard this, he could no longer stand to listen to me. Ashamed, he tucked in his tail and barked a feeble bow wow. Then he crawled down into his cave. Thus, Zarathustra had recounted this story to his disciples. But his disciples scarcely listened to him. So great was their desire to tell him about the sailors, the rabbits, and the flying man. "What am I supposed to think of that?" Zarathustra said. "Am I some kind of ghost?" "Ah, but it must have been my shadow. You must have heard something before about a wanderer and his shadow. What is certain, however, is that I must keep him shorter. Otherwise, he will ruin my reputation." And once again Zarathustra shook his head and wondered, "What am I supposed to think of that?" he said once more. Why did the ghost shout, "It is time! It is high time"? For what then is it high time? Thus spoke Zarathustra.